Hey y'all, welcome back to Krista's Kitchen. As you see, we have a different setup today. We're going to try this out and see how it works, see if this helps speed up the video for you, and also make it easier to follow things. Today we're making some pork fried rice. Now, it's a little bit different than how I usually make my personal fried rice, but this is an every plate meal. So we're going to try it their way and see how we like it, see if we would kind of combine how I make mine and theirs together. But I just have a little bit of olive oil heating up in my fry pan, and in the back pot I have a cup of water, some basmati rice, about a tablespoon of chicken stock, and a little salt that I'm boiling. It's got just a few minutes left to boil, but one thing with your rice is you set it, boil it, turn the temperature down once it reaches boiling, and let it go. For this, we're going to cook our egg first, which usually I cook my egg at the end and toss it into my fried rice, but we're following what they said. I have 2 eggs here, 2 large eggs that I'm just kind of whisking up with a little fork. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to it. If you season each portion of your meal along the way, usually the end result comes out better. Just be careful with how much salt you use for all of this. So, we're going to toss this in. This won't take but just a minute to cook. I probably should have waited just a little bit longer. But we're going to scramble this in the pan and then pull it out into another bowl. And then cook our pork and all of our veggies. Y'all let me know if this setup seems to work better for y'all. I thought about doing a voiceover also. And see, I might play with that to see. But something to just minimize the amount of speed ups, but still give you the information for how to cook and how to cook the food that we're trying to make. So the eggs are slightly underdone, but that's okay because we're going to toss them back in at the end. But y'all saw that took just like 20-30 seconds. Let's get those last few little pieces. I'm going to heat up a little bit more olive oil in this exact same pan and add our veggies to it. So just a generous little sizing of oil. Oh, I hear a tractor going by. Big old truck. Our onion. So I have a half of an onion. They called for a whole yellow onion, but I had half an onion still left from the other day when I cooked something else, so I'm adding that in. They had a little piece of ginger that I just chopped up. That's probably about 2 tablespoons worth, and then 1 medium-sized carrot I chopped up. Now the carrot's the main thing I want really cooking up in this, because it needs to soften quite a bit. But you could do, oh, I threw a carrot back there. You could do the full onion. I just decided I would rather use up what I had already cut first. Now, if you worry about the ginger, what I would just say from personal experience, I don't use it a ton, so I've gotten the ginger paste before, and that works out really well. I usually don't use it in my fried rice, but I'm curious to see, oh, I'm throwing things everywhere, y'all. See how it works in this, because I think it will help with the flavor, give it some different taste to it. But you can also buy like a little chunk of ginger, and it will last a really long time in the freezer, and it's very inexpensive. I got a large thing of ginger one time in one of my Misfits subscription boxes, and I saved that in the freezer for months and just pulled it out and used it. And you don't have to use a vegetable peeler. You can use the back of a spoon if it's frozen, and it like glides right off. It's wonderful. But for this, we just want 2 or 3 minutes for this to cook. And our main thing is we want, there we go. Our main thing is we want our carrots to soften and get nice and tender. And in about 2 or 3 minutes, I'll add in those 3 cloves of chopped garlic that I have. But I'm going to speed y'all up a little bit while these cook and we're going to kind of leave them be. Okay, y'all, so we're going to add in our 10 ounces of ground pork and just kind of push it all around in the pan. They say to press it down into the pan, I guess, so it can get a good sear and really mix with the veg that we have down in here. But we're going to chop this up a little bit and then kind of press it down into the veggies. Now, I'm going to let y'all know they're... Now the sauce that we'll be adding to the rice part, once it all goes in, is just a little bit. It's about a half teaspoon of white granulated sugar, a teaspoon of ponzu sauce, and about a quarter of a cup of low sodium soy sauce. That's not going in just yet, but I've mixed it up. And I already have it setting to the side just so that sugar can dissolve, because this won't take but just a few minutes. So we're going to leave that for about another 2 or 3 minutes. I guess that's my time I like today. And let it cook up. And then we're going to flip it over and do a little chop suey down in it to break up some of the pieces. So we're going to add a pretty generous portion of salt to this part. Break it all up. And get it flipped over. Let's go ahead and flip it before we break it. And then that way that bottom side can be cooking. Slippery when it's all together like this. So I'm just using my Ninja non-stick skillet for this. I would recommend using a non-stick skillet if you have it. Just, it helps with cleanup for one, but cuts down on the amount of oil and things you need also. And lots of different things that could stick in this pan. So this is going to help a lot. It's cooking while we're chopping up, but we're going to mix in our little mixture that we were just talking about with the sugar and ponzu sauce and soy sauce. And this is what's going to pack a whole lot of flavor down in there. And mix that all around. I want all the meat coated in this mixture the most before I put the eggs in and the peas, because I know that egg will soak up a lot of this. I want the rice to soak up some of it too, but they have the rice going in. Actually, I was going to say, they have the rice going in the very last thing, but I may change that up just a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my peas while that pork just finishes the last little bit of cooking. There we go. This will have a little piece of egg in it, maybe put it there. If all the peas don't end up in the bowl, it'll be okay. But get those mixing around. This looks, right now, because I don't usually use peas. I usually use edamame for my fried rice. I just get it in the freezer section, the grocery store, already in the shelled pods. And I like to toss that in. So the peas are a little bit different for me. It feels more shepherd's pie-ish right now. And I also usually don't put meat unless it's some bacon or something down in my fried rice. Okay. Turn this to low. We're going to pull our rice off and toss it in because I want it to get some of that, season the flavors from that sauce also. And you see no burning, no anything, perfectly cooked rice. You just heat it to a boil in about 15-16 minutes covered, not touching. And that used to be the hardest thing for me to do, is to not stir my rice. Because I'd be like, well, obviously it's going to stick. I mean, if I stirred it and it still stuck. So if I didn't stir it, it's going to stick even worse. And it's just, I don't know why. It's just one of those things. It took me years to be able to cook rice the right way. Or where it would turn out. So I'm going to toss in my eggs. Chop it up, and it's done. We can turn the heat off with it too, because the rice, the things that are left in here, is going to cook the rest of that. But I'm going to get this mixed around. We're going to put it in a bowl and taste test it. This could probably use maybe one more egg, in my opinion. But I'm going to taste test it, see how it is. Pork fried rice. It said 10 minutes prep, 35 minutes cook. I think we finished in much under that time. But this is our end result. I did put a little bit of sriracha mayo on that side. I'm going to taste test it without that first. See how it is. But, I mean, with the basis of ingredients, I don't see how it could be bad. Very yummy. Definitely a win. I should have probably cooked my carrots just a few minutes longer. They're a little bit firm, but they're not raw. They're delicious. Definitely going to enjoy this. And as you see, there is plenty, and I mean plenty, left for us to have with dinner tonight as well. But this is going to work out as a wonderful lunch for me, and then we'll save the rest for dinner tonight. I will put some links to the other videos for the dinner. We're going to make some hibachi style chicken with veg, and our Connie salad, which I'll do a small video for the Connie salad as well. This is delicious. I'm going to enjoy it, and thank y'all for joining us. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.